If you want to use the parking mode on your dashcam but don't want to mess around with fuses and hardwiring kits, then an OBD2 power cable might be for you. I review car tech, and in the course of making videos I frequently come across lots of dashcams and dashboard consoles that require hardwiring for constant power from the car's battery to enable the parking mode, which keeps an eye on the vehicle out of hours. Hardwiring kits are great if you know how to fit them, but it can be a daunting task, and that's where a simple OBD2 power cable comes in. It's just one wire which plugs into your OBD2 port. Throughout the video I'll not only cover how to install it, but also why some people say it's bad for your car and the truth behind that. And just so you know, this video isn't sponsored, though I do feature some dashcams from brands I've worked with in the past. But before we go any further, the install I'm about to do is for educational and informational purposes only. This isn't professional automotive advice, and you're responsible for any work you perform on your own vehicle. If you're not sure, you should consult a qualified professional. Parking mode is a feature on many dashcams that allows the camera to keep monitoring your vehicle even when the engine is turned off. Instead of recording continuously, the dashcam switches to a low power state and activates when it detects motion, an impact, or based on a time-lapse setting, capturing incidents like hit and runs, parking damage, car park damage, or break-ins. This is important because standard USB or cigarette lighter power cuts off when the ignition is off, meaning the camera would normally shut down and miss these events. Parking mode solves that problem by allowing the dashcam to stay powered safely while the car is parked, giving you protection when you're not around. The OBD2 port, which stands for Onboard Diagnostics version 2, is a standardized 16-pin connector found in nearly all vehicles made since the mid-1990s, and it allows access to a car's diagnostic systems. It's primarily used by technicians and scan tools to read trouble codes, monitor sensor data, and check emissions-related information, which is why it's usually located under the dashboard for easy access. The port provides both constant low-current 12-volt power and data connections, but it's important to understand that it functions as an interface for monitoring and diagnostics, not as a control system for driving, braking, or safety features. Some devices use both the power and data pins to communicate with vehicle computers, while others, like the dashcam OBD cable in this video, only draw power. An OBD dashcam hardwiring cable is a plug-and-play power adapter that connects a dashcam directly to the vehicle's OBD2 port to provide constant power without tapping into the fuse box. Most modern vehicles support this without issue, but vehicle OBD power behaviour can differ slightly between manufacturers. Instead of splicing wires or using fuse taps, the cable simply plugs into the OBD port and supplies both constant and ignition switch power that the dashcam uses to automatically enter and exit parking mode. These cables are designed for low-power devices like dashcams and typically include built-in safety features such as low-voltage cutoff protection to help prevent excessive battery drain, making them a simple alternative to traditional hardwiring. Some dashcam manufacturers provide their own, like Nextbase do as the standard power source for their advanced IQ dashcam, but I purchased this easily available third-party cable here, and ones like this can be found for around £50 to £30 or dollars, and I'll leave a link in the description below if you're interested in getting one for yourself. This particular cable has a switch on the plug. Mode O is ACC mode, where power stops after 20 minutes of the engine turning off. This provides short-term parking mode. Mode Dash, or 1, is parking monitoring mode, which continues providing power to the dashcam for parking mode until the plug's built-in low-voltage protection kicks in, cutting power at 11.6 volts because the vehicle's battery will get too low to start otherwise. You may be wondering why it only has 3 pins instead of a full set like an OBD scanner might. That's because typically an OBD cable uses 3 things: constant 12-volt power, a ground, and ignition switched power. It doesn't need data or communication with the vehicle, so the pins haven't been included on this cable. Also in the box is an A8 to B8 USB-C adapter, which is needed for some dashcams, so it's good to have it included. This allows USB-C dashcams to recognize ignition changes, which is how they know when to switch into parking mode. You can also get OBD power cables with micro USB connections instead of USB-C, because not all dashcams use the same ports. There are also instructions explaining pretty much everything you need to know about the cable, and a trim removal tool to help hide the wires. Installing an OBD power cable couldn't really be much simpler, and that's kind of the point of this whole video. First, locate your OBD2 port. They're usually found under the dashboard on the driver's side behind an easily removable cover, but consult your vehicle's manual if you can't find yours. Take the OBD power cable and plug it into the port. The cable now needs to be hidden on its way up to the dashcam. This will be different for every vehicle, but tuck it into the trim wherever you can as you'll make your way up to wherever your dashcam is positioned. Ultimately, you don't want to be able to see any of the cable as it could become a hazard. Safety when routing cables around vehicles is very important. As OBD ports are often on the driver's side, be sure that no wires hang near the pedals and that, if routing past airbags, they aren't blocked by wires. When you've connected the OBD power cable for your dashcam, the parking mode should appear in your settings, or if it's already there, will now provide more options and functionality. Choose the settings you want, such as time-lapse, and set the length of time to record for, and whether you want to use functions such as collision and motion detection if your dashcam has those capabilities. Now, when the engine is turned off, if you're switched to the O mode of the plug, then you'll get 20 minutes of recording. But if you're on the dash mode, then you'll record continuously until the dashcam stops recording or the OBD power cable recognises that your vehicle's voltage is getting too low to start the engine and cuts out. Bear in mind though that vehicle battery condition, electronics and usage patterns vary, so results may differ from car to car. There are a lot of opinions online as to whether using an OBD power cable is actually bad for your vehicle, often because the OBD2 port gives access to power and diagnostic systems. I can only speak from my own experience of using my OBD2 port for power daily for over a year, and I've had no issues myself. That said, every car and OBD device used is different, and there are positives and negatives to consider. First off, OBD2 ports are designed to be safe and standardised across vehicles. You're also not messing with wiring or the vehicle fuse box, which can be a consideration if you're leasing a vehicle, for example. The OBD port is fused, protected and intended to support external devices, which is why mechanics, inspectors and manufacturers rely on it daily. Power-only accessories like dashcam OBD cables take advantage of this design by drawing only a very small amount of power without communicating with or controlling any vehicle systems. That said, if your vehicle sits for long periods without being driven or has an older battery, it's worth keeping an eye on battery health or using a higher voltage cutoff setting if you have an OBD power cable that it can be adjusted on. The main concern comes from negative experiences with certain OBD devices, such as low-quality scan tools, tuners, trackers or dongles, that actively communicate with the car's computers and can cause problems if they malfunction, spam data or stay powered too long. Battery drain, warning lights or temporary fault lights from these devices often get blamed on the OBD port itself, leading to the theory that all OBD accessories are risky. The only other consideration when using one of these cables is that your OBD port will be occupied and therefore will need to be unplugged if you need the port for a diagnostic device, for example. The dashcam will lose power entirely, including parking mode, potentially missing incidents or accidents. Let me know your thoughts on whether it's worth using the OBD port in the comments below. If an OBD power cable isn't for you, then the only alternative which keeps your parking mode functional is hardwiring by tapping the vehicle's fuses using a widely available kit. That's a whole separate video in itself, but luckily I've already made it, so check it out next by clicking the link in the top right hand corner or in the description below. To recap, an OBD power cable is an easy way to enable parking mode without touching the fuse box. It's generally low risk when used correctly, and it's especially useful for beginners or leased vehicles. I've been using this method in my vehicle recently, but if you're not sure about it yourself, then it may be worth testing it over a few hours to ensure it works with your dashcam and vehicle as you expect it to. I'm not trying to convince anyone to use one. I think it's just an interesting and easier solution to get your dashcam's parking mode watching over your vehicle when you're away from it, without messing around with fuse boxes and hardwire kits. If you're interested in finding out more, I've got affiliate links to products I've used in the description below, which help support this channel and make videos like this possible. If you've enjoyed the video and think I've earned it, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.